Well, finally, after all this time, Regiments is finally released on Steam. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to a Cold War Gone Hot real-time strategy game that is now finally available on Steam. This game has been around since 2020 or so when I first played the alpha, demo, and beta, and playtests and other things. Throughout the years, this game has developed into a very solid contender for being a really enjoyable and very detailed real-time strategy game. Now, if you're a big fan of World in Conflict like I was, which has a wonderful touching story and some really good gameplay elements to it and mechanics, and if you're a big fan of the realism and the diverse units that are presented by the Wargame series, including Wargame European Escalation, Air Land Battle, and Red Dragon, then this is going to be a game for you. If we take a look here at the Regipedia, you can see a lot of information about all the different units in the game's features of the different nations and whatnot that are available. So the Warsaw Pact and the Soviet Union, of course, taking place in and around East and West Germany during 1989. The game, has a lot of explanation as to what armored vehicles are, main battle tanks, etc., all the different types of features. A lot of opportunities to learn here, and specifically to learn how it's played out in this game. If we take a look at any sort of unit used by the Pact forces, like, for example, this East German T-55 or BMP-1, we can take a look at all of its stats and what the troops might also have that go along with that vehicle too. So some really good art style in this game, and lots of course, familiar tactics and whatnot that are used in, of course, Wargame, Red Dragon and whatnot that are taken from real-life playbooks, including nations like the United Kingdom and Belgium that will be coming in more completion in the future. Right now, there's just a few units available for them. But primarily the focus here is the United States and the Soviet Union, with a lot of also East German units where the first campaign takes place during kind of a civil war in East Germany, where they're kind of fighting for power over possibly betraying the Warsaw Pact and going towards the West. Lots of cool little helicopters and, of course, vehicles that you can read all day about that actually existed and that were actually used by, for example, the Belgian forces here. And, of course, we saw, like, for example, the United Kingdom. Here's a Harrier and, of course, realistic regiments that existed too, and divisions as well that were on those actual fronts. So pretty cool. Lots of stats to read about. So if you love that type of style of war game, then you're going to love this. But also, if you like a few of the arcadey elements and the exciting, heart-pounding action of holding on to the last man of World in Conflict, it's really where this one comes in and does what it does best. Well, speaking of the best, you guys are the best too, so thank you very much for leaving a like and subscribing to see more of this game on the channel. Previously, we did take a look at the operations for the game, so if you'd like to see its campaign in more detail, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a peek at it, but I would urge you to go back to another video that I'll link at the bottom here and go through the first campaign, which is Dissonance. And it looks like there's 7 total campaigns where you can make things more challenging or more easy based on your play style. You have a whole scenario here of things set up, kind of setting up the story. And then over on the right side, advanced rules of giving ourselves more move time to fight through the battles, and of course accuracy and damage. We can turn these up and down and make the enemy easier to deal with or harder. We can learn the missions and then perfect them and up the difficulty over time. And then there's also, of course, objectives, for example, to rally with local forces, defeat other mobile groups, and then destroy rebel command network, that type of thing. So of course, starting easy with the East Germans and then probably going all the way up towards commanding the Americans in some sort of desperate last stand. But anyway, very cool to see. There's also a lot of great images here and text to read that set up the story. So there certainly is a little bit more here than just move to position and destroy things. If we take a look at the saved game from our previous adventure, you can see that we did things in multiple phases here, taking place over multiple hours, which eventually battles will take place over multiple days. If you're familiar with Total War, this screen might be a little bit familiar with to you with, of course, the after battle report. Here we're able to replenish our units, buy new units, or possibly even recruit additional units to our already existing forces. For example, here we can spend what is known as operational authority on a unit to then get additional levels, which then bring in more units to reinforce them and make them more powerful. So either, for example, we get a T-55 and then step that up to a T-55A, and then perhaps also we get artillery with that, maybe an anti-aircraft unit. So the more we put into these forces, the better that they can be. And then these buttons at the bottom allow us to restore units that maybe were lost in a previous battle over a course of hours or days. And as you can see, we're moving further and further north through this campaign. So very cool here. The ability to also build defenses on the battlefield. If that's what's required of the mission, we can put more points in towards engineer support and that'll allow us to build anti-aircraft guns or pillboxes, or to put out scouts and reconnaissance vehicles that will hide somewhere in the forest. And we can also buy supplies and deployment points to get more forces on the field. So pretty cool. And also it'll break down everything for different types of situational reports of what's going on in other places, so you can kind of see what's going on and what might be affecting the battle all around. Pretty cool. So yeah, another cool thing about this campaign mode, we'll just touch on it briefly, is going into events. There's negative and positive events that can affect you each battle too, so the campaign has a lot of replayability. I love World and Conflict to death, but I know what will happen in that game, and so this game kind of throws some random cards in and saying, hey, the previous time you played, the enemy got 2 reinforcement waves. Now this time they get 6 or 8 or 10. So there's a really cool amount of good things that can happen to you, bad things that can happen to you. You can lose all communication and get no aircraft throughout the battle, or you can you get extra supply, or get some extra units to assist, like a friendly unit has broken through and now they're going to assist you in the final push. Or in this case, electronic warfare, where you have reduced SAM accuracy, which probably isn't that bad since we haven't seen a lot of enemy aircraft here. But it is quite interesting to see how they've done this, and I really, really like it. Praising this a lot. So if this is a lot for you to take on, there are some good tutorials in the game too for basic training, advanced training, and mission fundamentals. Basically, how to play the game a little bit more better with hotkeys, and using tactics like reversing and using attack move and fast move on highways, then how to tackle the missions, what the best tactics are to capturing a city or defending a point or moving in on a bridge or something like that. So anyway, I thought for today's purposes it would be nice to take a look at the skirmish mode, where another thing I love about this game is that we're not just attacking each other in open fields, similar to like Wargame. It was Village in Korea number 3914, where it was a beautiful valley, you were fighting over a village, but that was the course of the battle. Well, here in this game, we're fighting over locations that are going to be important in the actual campaign, and these are critical targets. Things like, for example, a nuclear power plant or a runway, which of course is critically important as well for those A-10s to destroy tanks and whatnot. So a lot of great battlefields that you're used to, or battlefields that are typical of the farm fields and forests and open plains and such. We can also pick the weather conditions too, which I do believe will affect the gameplay, which means that, for example, on a cloudy day, it could possibly make aircraft less effective, or anti-aircraft less effective, and or night battles too that you can do in this game, where you actually get flares and can deploy those tactics in moving on an enemy if they're defending on a position or attacking you. Wait until they're very close, fire those flares, and ambush them when you know they're out in the open. Well, for today's purposes, I wanted to take a look at the wow, those are great. I wanted to take a look at the runway map, but I just wanted to take a quick peek at some of these other maps and showing what they might look like. But it looks like there's quite a few, and it looks like they take place mostly in East and West Germany, somewhere around the borders there. So quite interesting to see battlefield here, but I'd love to see it expand into more territories over time. And of course, with more units and more nations being added to the fray, and with this one primarily focused on Europe, seems like we'll get at least a lot of units and forces and regiments and divisions that were present in those areas in 1989. All right, well, for today's purposes, I wanted to give the battle about 20 minutes here just to see what the 1st Brigade 3rd Armored Division would be like for the NATO forces, and then we'll go against a seemingly random Warsaw Pact unit or division or regiment, and we'll play that on medium and see how it all goes. We'll give ourselves middle of the road and see what a standard experience is. We're also going to be playing mobile defense mode, where we're going to defend the runway then. We'll go ahead and make sure that the attacker is the Warsaw Pact, so we'll try to defend as the 1st Brigade 3rd Armored Division of a airfield here, but there are other game modes too, of attack, meeting engagement, and then mobile defense as well. So we'll go ahead and go with that. And let's see what this is. I'm curious to see what NBC Day is. Does it actually give me the NBC logo like in the corner as if we're watching on TV? Who knows? All right, to battle, and then we'll also fight as the Soviets. By the way, one last thing I did want to mention too. Here's just a quick peek at all the different armored and infantry and cavalry divisions. Mostly Americans here, but also West German forces here. Panzer Brigade 29 and different 13s for conf groups. And also it looks like we got the Belgians in here too. So there's a lot of great factions. And also for the Warsaw Pact, let's take a look at those forces. I just wanted to take a quick peek here. I will switch our unit there to the 40th Motor Rifle Regiment. We have the 35th Guards Air Assault. We have the Motor Schutzen Regiment 9, etc., etc. So a lot of East German forces and quite a few Soviet forces too. So that'll be interesting to play as, for example, the 61st Tank Guards or possibly the 332nd Guards tank. A lot of tanks, a lot of rifles for sure. But anyway, enough of that. Back to NATO, back to the 1st Brigade, and back to the battlefield. Let's go. All right, welcome to the battlefield. So it looks like the enemy will be approaching to what we'll call the southwest in the appearance of how it looks like on the mini-map. Looks like the enemy has 2 avenues of advance that'll be coming onto the airfield right here. Now, what's great about this is I remember this battle. In some of the campaigns, we actually play as a Soviet force that breaks through somewhere around here, and we actually have to fight our way to and then capture and hold the airfield. So it's really cool to be able to see this mission being recreated in kind of our own conditions. We can play as the defender, we can play as the attacker, we can attack or defend as other forces, so that's pretty cool. Looks like we got some M60s already dug in here around the airfield, and yeah, it looks a lot like air-land battle and European escalation and whatnot. But it also feels a lot like its own thing, too. When I see the airfield here and how we have to actually defend it, I can't help but think World in Conflict. So really big props here to see that. So we got M1s available. We got M2 Bradleys and Vulcans, and looks like even, a Cobra available. A couple of them as well. All right, so we need to defend for about 20 minutes, escort the transports to the objective zones. That's interesting. This is the mobile defense version. Well, whatever. I want to hold as many of these positions as I can, and mostly hold around the airfield, so let's do it. With the enemy approaching from the south like this, it'll be at our best interest to try to put our tanks up somewhere high and dry, so that way they can't really hit them. So we can set up our forces here. Actually, we're going to put these together. Looks like we have a couple of pairs of M1s. Let's see. 140 points each. Wow, crazy. So it looks like these tanks can be deployed here. We might not see them until we hit go, but or maybe they'll roll over here from the spawn points, but yeah, they'll be here in the forest. Now, another great thing is that this is exactly how the campaign also takes place, too. So we get options to set up our units and options to set up anti-tank and whatnot. We have 50 engineer support, too, so we can set up mortars, anti-tank, observation posts, strong points, which essentially is like a vehicle that's dug in, I believe, and also an anti-air emplacement, and some obstacles, too. But we'll go ahead and try to set up anti-tank because I believe we're probably going to see a lot of enemy tanks at some point. So let's go ahead and maybe lay these out here and see if we can face those in the right direction. So the engineers are digging in, getting ready to fight a big O Soviet force here. We'll go ahead and kind of put our forces wherever we can, especially on this side. Then we'll have our mobile defense over here. So if the enemy happens to be here, we can deal with them, or if they break through from here, we can have our tanks change direction. Let's try a few other obstacles just to see how they work. We want to block the runway, let's say. We'll maybe put some obstacles there. And since the runway is nice and open, oh, look at this. Actually, we can barricade the runway too. So the enemy they've completely broken through. There's nothing we can do to launch A-10s, right? So it's basically like the runway shut down. There's nothing we can do to stop the enemy anymore. So we're going to just dig in around the airfield and try to defend it. So let's just act as if the runway is not active anymore, and that we can just continuously build defenses. Looks like we're out of forces there for that, so let's do an observation point. So some of these will be vehicles, some of these will be bunkers or observation posts that may have been built very hastily, but a lot of the time it's just kind of dug in forces. And it looks like they've given us some units to start with that'll be defending here. So some, yeah, dug in tanks. The oh yeah, M113s dug in over here, very nice. With this is great. Look at this, you can see the forces with the foxholes and such already dug in, and some nice detailing to the M113 as well with equipment hanging from it, and a lot of A-10s that we're just not able to evacuate. So obviously our force is not expecting a breakthrough this quickly from the enemy. Oh yeah, so it looks like if we don't like our setup, we can just discard. So that's kind of helpful for if you don't like something. So let's go ahead and quickly set up our defenses again just to make sure that we can fire on the enemy. We'll do another setup here. And yeah, so this should be a great way to defend the airfield. I think actually we want to go with a ton of anti-tank, and we'll even see how that mortar works out. Actually, that's about all the mortar support, or rather engineer support that we have. Cool. All right, so let's see. We have new forces in 338. We have a lot of additional units available for us. Looks like some of them, oh, I see, they're deploying here. Oftentimes in the game, your forces are able to deploy at the front line. And in this case, it does look like they might be able to, but there's also a lot of supply back here that I think needs to be Well, actually, these are transports and supplies, so they might actually... I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but it says to return transports back to starting zone. So we might actually have to go to these zones and extract units or people that are there and then get the hell out of there. Not sure. We'll figure it out as we go. I've played it before. I thought it was really cool, though. I can't remember exactly how it was played out, but we'll learn as we go, as every mission and every objective is different. We have 450 supplies, so if and when we need it, we'll call those out. And in fact, actually, instead of calling out those M3A2s, we're going to go ahead and cancel that, I think. We're going to call out those helicopters instead. Let's see if we can delete those for deployment. Let's see, M2, M1, M3s. Can we call those back? Now we'll retreat them at the start and call out the choppers later. They're 170 points, so they should be a quite effective unit on the field. But we'll try our tanks first. Let's go. All right, so right from the get-go, we have our anti-tank forces dug in here. We've got ITVs. So it wasn't just like we were digging in some troops or something in a hedge line. It was actual serious vehicles being dug in here for defensive positions where they're going to be watching for enemy tank movements. I'm going to get these M3s out of the way. Let's go ahead and QQ them out of there. They'll pop smoke and retreat. That is the cool thing about this game, too, is that if it's just too hot, you can actually retreat your forces like you would in Company of Heroes, and you'll actually get those points back. And you can replenish them either here in this menu or later on replenish them in the larger menu for their overall forces that'll be present here. Let's see how it goes with these forces. Bring supply up for the tanks. Obviously, they're going to need it. We'll work up there quickly. Let's see what it's like to capture these areas, too. All right, looks like those forces were able to retreat. We're up to 115, 116, 117, so our points will keep rising until we've got ourselves the tanks. Whoa, here we go. M1s are firing, and nicely dug in on the hill. Hell yeah. T-72s. No, those look to be possibly T-80s. Oh, T-64s. We have artillery at our disposal that we can call in shortly. Some of our tanks destroyed, but anti-aircraft going crazy. Their units have broken through. BTRs being hit. Incredible. Evacuation started at Delta. Keep transports in the zone. Awesome. So this is like we're capturing, but we're actually escorting out military personnel and equipment and such. So the Soviets are about to capture this. So we need to get the hell out of here and probably scuttle things, essentially. That is really cool. I love that kind of game mode. So we're defending, but it's an evacuation defense. That is awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. So there's a real serious reason to fight, but the enemy is probably going to be emboldened in their attacks because they're a time limit until they got to get the hell out of here. T-64s have had enough. They're bringing up Shilkas now. And while they were, goodbye. All right, let's see over here if they bring any forces in for an attack. Looks like we have some other friendly forces that are here. Another great thing about this game is that you'll get friendly forces that will help you to defend some AI forces that at least give you some other line of sight and would simulate other forces being present on the battlefield. All right, well, Delta's done. Now we got to go back to the starting zone with those forces. And let's go ahead and get these forces back, too. We'll have the trucks get out of there. Man, this would be great in multiplayer. For those of you questioning the multiplayer, too, it unfortunately doesn't look like the developer has plans at the moment, but this would just be so fun to kind of casually play with a friend and defend and attack and try to, most importantly, head off the enemy as they're trying to retreat from these areas. Obviously, they have a little bit of an advantage of having control of these buildings and areas first, but they are able to actually, retreat and could be destroyed. Looks like the enemy's broken through to the airfield. Let's call out this artillery now and see exactly how effective it is against approaching enemy forces. We'll move our M1s over here and see if we can move over this way. We're going to retreat that M1 and see if we can get the choppers up too.
New task force available.
There we go. We got new task force available because of that. I'm going to call up infantry too to see if we can lock down these hangars here and buy us some more time around Charlie and also hold the control tower. I'm not sure if this is actually Ramstein Air Force Base. But But damn, those, wow, it's cluster munitions. And those are M1 IPs firing as well. Those are not just standard M1s. Very cool. All right, choppers are here. We have Cobras at our disposal. And there's a hell of a lot of anti-aircraft gun around, so we're going to go ahead and hide over here. We still got to evacuate the eastern side. Those forces have disembarked, so let's go to the eastern and northern sections. Wow, damn, this is a hell of a lot of fun, honestly. I already want to turn the difficulty up and continue these desperate defenses around things like airfields, bridgeheads, the nuclear power plants, cities and stuff, and see if we can actually get our forces out. As, of course, if the Soviets were breaking through like this to an airfield, they must have played off one hell of a crazy attack. Just a Hail Mary, really, to be able to break through to an actual, American-held airfield like that. Of course, we got lucky with tons and tons of engineering units that are just decimating those recon units. Look at that, too. Looking good, man. Look at that. You can actually see where they press down the grain and such, the wheat being pushed back like that. Very nice. Oh, wow, and corpses around, too. And turrets from, those look to be BMP-3s, actually. Incredible. M2 Bradley under some heavy fire here. Ah, looks like the enemy's calling their own artillery. Let's see, how do we reverse then? It's reverse move here. Now, when our forces stay still for long enough, you did see the infantry at the start there kind of locked in around the tree line where we just saw them before. And so we're going to go ahead and lock our Bradleys in here and here, facing both, let's call this I think this would be the east side, and then this would be the west side if we're looking opposite. So yeah, east. Wow, crazy. All right, we've resupplied the M1s as best we can. They've got munition again. Let's replenish our anti-tank guided missile launchers, especially at the airfield. They did a good job so far of fending off and finding those enemy transporters. Surprised we're not seeing helicopters or infantry. Go back to our transport units. Echo and Charlie need to be pulled out now. Evacuating more military personnel from these barracks and cruise quarters and maintenance personnel, maybe special equipment or anything we don't want the Soviets to find before it's destroyed by engineering forces. Very cool. Man, this really reminds me of the beginning of World in Conflict then. And this gives you a great opportunity to make your own campaigns too. You can make up your own missions by, taking the airfield, losing the airfield, taking it back, defending it again, then evacuating it from it one more time, and then just absolutely destroying it or whatnot. I mean, those are the types of battles that happen. All right, looks like T-64 is coming up on the right side again. Let's get the choppers over here, see if they can do some work. Cobras are on the way. Here they come. All right. We need to get to Foxtrot now to take that area. Looks like new objectives are popping up as I don't think I saw it before. Oh my god, the amount of forces coming at us. Let's drop those cluster munitions again. Don't let them get close. Hold that airfield. Oh, we got Shilkas. Never mind, the Cobra's got to pull back.
New task force available.
All right, let's call out some more tanks here. Leave it and get our artillery started. All right, let's go ahead and use the attack move, which will in this case be Echo. And let's go ahead and use artillery, which is T. We'll try to hit that anti-aircraft gun there. Forces are ready to be withdrawn. Let's see where those other transports. Oh, they didn't get wiped out, did they? Let's see, where's our transports? Oh, they actually made it back. Good. All right, on to Foxtrot. We're going to try to go the slow way. We'll hold shift and make multiple commands to try to avoid that. And artillery doing a good job from the M106 mortars. suppressing what could be infantry around that area, perhaps. Not bad. Nicely done, boys. Come on, let's move our artillery slightly. Look at the destruction to the ground, too. Just really great detail to things. For a game that simulates a very large area here, and which could be bigger than this is just one of the sizes of the maps, it does a good job of showing where the hell the battle's been taking place just at a distance. I mean, you can see the end of the runway is absolutely haggard, and counter artillery coming in. Yes, the enemy actually firing counter artillery, although pretty close to us. I think we'll counter battery. Yep, there they are. If we fire, we gotta get too close to that. I think we'll just hold where it is and not fire for a moment. All right, transports are ready to evac again. Luckily, we don't have to go too far to evac. American forces are up here now. Tanks are on the way. Oh my God. BMP-2s. Hammer the hell out of them. Oh, this is going to be bad. DPICM artillery on the way. And here it comes. Oh, they don't like that. And they're pulling the hell out. My God. So imagine playing the same battle multiple times. Ooh, enemy aircraft. Napalm on the M1s. Curious. Oh, wait, no. Stay put. Wonder if we could actually use two transports together. But as I was pointing out before, imagine the replayability of this with all the different regiments, some of which are pre-made. You're not able to make your own, but you might be able to customize them a bit before you go into battle. Obviously, this is based on what existed at the time, based on what the enemy was doing to try to react to that, but very cool to actually be able to go in and play as an infantry regiment, then a tank regiment, then maybe some sort of air assault regiment, perhaps try to capture the airfield as paratroopers. Veterancy on the M1's upping now. Very nice. Enemy forces there being absolutely destroyed. Enemy tanks firing at our own and doing some pretty good damage. Wow, look at that. Very nice. All right, well, it looks like there's new evacuation. I love how these objectives pop up randomly like that. All right, let's go get those forces out of there. Looks like maybe only one unit can capture at a time, but we're going to go that way and try to continuously evac. We'll go over here, too. So not only do we have to defend, we also kind of have to defend in a way where we switch our defense, too, where we might have to actually counterattack areas where the enemy is or has captured, in order to then secure these objectives to eventually retreat. A mobile defense. We're actually technically retreating, but we're in battle, we're engaged, but it is so cool to actually be fighting over this airfield like this. I really want to be able to make my own maps and see some more strategic positions inside of a city, like, for example, river crossings and power plants, communication hubs, etc. If we tell our units to move fast, let's see if they stick to the roads. Looks like they kind of do, but they don't actually take the roads themselves. They kind of stick near them. New task force available. We got so many forces now to choose from. This is one thing that I actually forgot about. This is what I was mentioning when it comes to making your quote-unquote custom force. So when we're playing the campaign, we get to build our force over time by choosing these different types of forces. But for skirmish, we get to do it on the fly. So within the actual battle, we can call in reinforcements then, which become a part of our 1st Brigade, 3rd Armored Division, which gets, for example, artillery support, or we can call in a mechanized task force, and they kind of become a part of our force in this area. So in this case, I want to see more and more tanks, and so it would be pretty cool to call out perhaps, let's see, maybe more Abrams, which would be pretty sweet. We'll maybe do Fury, the armored task force there. Sundance. Nah, we're going to go with the Sundance force. Wow, 265 to call in one of those M1 A1HAs. Incredible. Or a helicopter team, but the enemy's bringing out a lot of anti-aircraft. But look at this. They also get special bonuses, so we get artillery smoke with this group. But we can also get an A10 gun run with the mechanized task force. We also get armored task force with artillery strikes, A10 cluster bombs with the command group as well. And there's even guided rocket strikes on enemy positions too. So it's like, oh man, maybe the Gladiator Recon task force is not as good for this current situation, but those A10s could change it around, that type of thing. So you'll make your decisions based on what you might be getting. Or for example, the Havoc task force. But keep in mind, these cost 50, so the precision artillery that we have is costing 45. So maybe the A10 gun run would be a much better option, or the artillery smoke to cover the forces that are trying to retreat with all those armored cars, all the trucks. Okay, let's go ahead and call that force in then, the Sundance Force. And I think we can call in another one too, so we'll also do, let's see, oh man, the cluster bombs seem juicy as hell, but I do want that A10 gun, so let's go with the, let's go with the 3-63. And there we go. Now we got those forces at our disposal, and we also have the new units at our disposal too. We can call in an additional task force if we want. Let's go with the, maybe the M3 guided. I mostly want this now for the specials. And let's go with those. Alright, more forces need to be called in. We're going to call in the M3s into the city. We're going to call the M1s over to the right flank. And we're also going to call in a HA as soon as we can. We're going to wait for a while till we get some points for it. Enemy artillery spotted. Let's go ahead and hit him with the A10 guns. Oh, let's hit them. They got rockets. Here they come. Here come the A10s. Oh, damn. Must have hit something. Hope we did. All right, next time that artillery fires, we're going to launch on it again. Let's go ahead and fall back a bit. Let's go ahead and use artillery in the woods. Danger close. Pull the hell out of there. We're going to save those tanks. Let's go. Enemy artillery. Here.
5 minutes remaining.
Let's do guided missiles there. Ammo low on the Cobras. Here comes some guided missiles from the A-10s. Anti-aircraft guns. They may have hit those forces, maybe not. We might need line of sight for that. They might not be able to spot and shoot themselves. Alright, let's get into the fight now. I'm really excited with this. This is awesome. Oh, nice. The M106s are actually automatically engaging targets. Very nice. Alright, where's our helicopters? Let's see. There they are. Alright, they got to come back for a supply. Enemy is breaking through at the airfield. Enemy artillery is firing again. Oh my god, we're being completely swarmed on that right side. Wait, let's hold for the better tanks. There it is. 265. M1s are holding the best they can. Here comes the reinforcements, boys. We gotta push through. We don't have time for the artillery. Alright, let's pull those forces out. An A-10 gun run on that BMP group. BMP-3 spotted. Helicopters are replenishing. Now imagine this also taking place with some of the other actual campaign missions too. Pretty phenomenal. Oh, get wrecked. Some good damage there, but these forces a little suppressed. Some of the A-10s were able to get out of there and provide support. Okay, transports. Would be good if we got some sort of audio telling us that the forces were ready to pull out of there. But I guess this is all about how much we can pull out in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Hit those forces there. Wow, look at that. Tanks doing the best that they can. Ooh, never mind. Nope, that's a Strela. That's anti-aircraft. Don't want to go near that. Okay, transport's ready to go back again. Very cool. This would be great to play multiplayer as well, where you were possibly doing the defenses and a friend had a different force to work the trucks with. Limited troops for them, more troops for you, but you had to do a lot more work and they had to do a lot more sneaking with trying to get past the enemy. Alright, we just got to get to Echo now. Wow, what an absolute mess. The confusion, the devastation, the destruction. Very what you would expect in a situation like this. We're going to continue to... oh, wow, is this National Guard troops? Interesting. Yeah, National Guard troops are actually being deployed here, too. So there was definitely some sort of escalation based on the escalation, if you know what I mean.
Objective completed.
All right, fantastic. Okay, well, good. We were able to destroy a hell of a lot of stuff. There's your after-battle report showing what, who killed who, and how much damage was caused. But damn, very solid game mode. I was very excited with that one. All right, let's play as the opposing force now, the, I guess, another Warsaw Pact unit. Maybe we'll take on the Soviets next and try to do the same thing again. This is great. I really enjoyed that. Very good. All right, a bit of an opposite scenario this time around, playing as the Soviets. We have a motorized division that has access to T-80s and BMPs, which is pretty sweet. And, of course, we have to defend and then eventually evacuate from the... I'm just going to have to say this is a nuclear power plant. It could be coal, who knows, but it's just more sweet to pretend that way. All right, well, we've got two objectives to secure, too, which are rather kind of far away from each other. And we see some very large forests here that wind through... the area. So if we're going to provide reinforcements, it looks like they're either going to have to funnel through here or go through the forest and then a large open area. So that's going to suck. But luckily, we're pretty close to the evac objective, and the Americans, I could only assume. It is random to who will attack, but I would assume it's probably going to be the American forces, but could be Belgian, could be the West Germans, rather. But yeah. And also, I noticed that there's a way where we can have Warsaw fight Warsaw or NATO fight NATO. So there is possibility to have, like, for example, the Soviet Civil War or something like that, which just sounds like hell on earth. Anyway, let's go ahead and get ready to deploy our forces. This time, we'll go ahead and put BMP-2s inside of the woods there. And we'll also try to take some heavier tanks and put them around the nuclear power plant. It's got to be nuclear with all that water and reserve tanks and stuff. But anyway... let's go ahead and put down all the T-80 BVs. We'll probably put some over here as well. Now let's see. Oh, are we already out of points? No, we should be able to call out a few more. Unfortunately, no helicopters this time in this run. Oh, we have to put them in the circles. We can't call them out from these points here. So there we go. These will act as forces that have like already retreated and consolidated around that area. We have 3 minutes 38 seconds until we get a new task force. So we could save our points, but I'm going to try to spend some more on these forces here. I believe we get our transport and supply trucks for free, so that should be good for those. Go with mortars this time and see how effective they are against the enemy. The enemy wouldn't be stupid enough to counterattack us at a nuclear power plant with artillery, would they? Go ahead and put some artillery forces here. Let's put 2 batteries here. See what happens. And then let's go ahead and put down some strong points, and we'll maybe put down some ATGMs as well. Strong point, actually they could attack from there too, so we'll put a strong point maybe facing the road. That winds through. Actually, I believe this is a railway, yeah. This is what goes into the nuclear power plant. And we'll also put down a ATGM right here. Now, the enemy might also have air power. We might actually see some aircraft if it's a air assault division or something like that. So we could see A-10s. We could see... maybe it's British. Maybe we'll see Harriers. Who knows? I would like to put a unit here and actually deploy those BMPs to the right of that. So let's do that. And let's do an observation point... maybe up front here, and up front here. I believe they also camouflage themselves too, so we can build a couple of those like that just to see. Additionally, we can also build that barbed wire continuously, so we could build like 50 points worth of barbed wire and really put the enemy into some kill zones. All right, same drill as last time. I just like this game mode. I think this is badass, so let's begin. No more waiting, no more hesitating. Let's go. Unfortunately, just the smoke rounds for us now. That's all we get, so Duckdushna, yeah. Alright, go ahead and move. And we got some supply too. We'll keep that for our units here, I guess, at the power plant. Alright, BMPs, go ahead and deploy. Looks like our friendly forces have deployed too. We don't have any control over these guys, so I guess just, I don't know, militia groups that are tasked with defending the power plant. All right, let's see. Enemy not spotted yet, but our force is just arriving. Also going with a little bit more of a stormier day. Cool to see the skybox like that. Very nice to see large explosions and stuff out there, although it seems like it's nukes rather than just like a conventional bomb. Ah, there we go. We got line of sight on enemies. All right, BMP-2s are firing. BMP-1s are firing. T-80BVs are firing. Oh boy. We have 45 seconds until we can call in reinforcements. Hold on that left side. We have some units there, so... Hold. Forces spotted on the right side. We gotta get some things out of these buildings. Wow, devastating. Looks like the water's shallow enough to where they're going to do an amphibious crossing of the reservoirs for the nuclear power plant. Alright, we're pulling out. Give those forces some cover as they retreat. We need reinforcements here. Oh, new task force. Oh, thank God. Alright, I need something to crack those enemy tanks. T-64s would be fantastic here. Artillery barrage. Rockets, artillery, area recon. Very nice. Ooh, with Mi-24Ks. Interesting. That's what we want. Call those in. Hold on, let's go ahead and do an area recon here. We can see all those units, and then we'll call in the choppers. There we go. Of course, we can active pause too at any time. We're playing this kind of like it's multiplayer, no pause. So you gotta do things quickly, but BMP-2 is here. We gotta help those units retreat. Alright, friendly forces succeeded in retreating. Supply trucks are getting the hell out of there with the necessary equipment and whatnot. Survivors, wounded, equipment, whatever. Wow. They've had enough. They're retreating. Leo 1A4s is the Germans. The Germans from hell, according to this number, 666. German forces rolling in. Alright. T-80 BVs are coming back with a vengeance. Okay, I think we'll keep those trucks there. I don't think the supply trucks... Looks like they're automatically moving to the next zone. I don't think they can hold more than 100. Let's just retreat. We have 106 points. We're saving for 2 minutes. Alright, these units need supply. There we go, Delta on the west side there. Mi-24Ks are doing a great job of holding the line. Leos are pushing. And they've had enough. Alright, transport trucks are ready to move. Let's go. Enemy forces are pushing here. Let's see if we can pull back for supply. Otherwise, we have to go to the actual supply trucks, which means we need to get them over here. Have them gather there for resupply. Panzer Grenadiers moving forward. Germans have had enough. All right, we're holding 52 seconds for a new task force. Transports are almost ready to move. There we go. Looks like we're also gaining points no matter what, as if survivors are leaving the area. We're at 328. We'll probably be at 329 shortly. Maybe based on enemy kills. Oh, and there's about to be a lot. Ah, the mortars. How are they doing? Looks like these were firing a moment ago. We have no control over them.
New task force available.
And now we have a new task force. Let's go with a tank force on that right flank. T-64s seem like the best option here. We have Mi-24Ps. Choppers are just going to be very difficult to resupply. We don't look to be in the possession of any sort of resupply unit. Oh, look at that. The Chaika? Command oversees the operation of units close vicinity, drastically improving their performance. Yeah, if we put these near tanks, they'll be much more powerful. But we need the tanks first. Let's do it. Let's go with our new T-64s on this right flank. Alright, lots of enemy forces on the way. Let's get recon on the area. Recon is free. It doesn't cost us anything, but it does take cooldown on time. Ah. A Gepard. I've driven this before. Black Panzer Gepard moving around. I've driven that before and crushed many a car with that one. Alright, supply trucks are on their way. Let's get the tanks together. We'll do a tank push now. Supply trucks need to get the hell out of there. And now it's time to counterattack. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. All right, a hard stop to enemy movement in that area. Let's have our BMPs retreat as well. New task force in 3 minutes. ATGM. Ah, damn, that's so cool, dude. Love it, man, love it. Now, I hope that this game is getting a hell of a lot of attention and that people are at least checking out and adding it to their wish list, so more support like this can go to this game to where more and more can be added over time. I think this is a great formula, and I love to see it outside of European escalation, airland battle. I'm happy to see No around and see that Wargame's kind of back in its own way. And hopefully, man, I don't know what I would give everything. I would give everything for a new world in conflict, truly. Wow, look at the tank battle going on here. Let's help this unit out here. Get those T-64s out of there. Get full line of sight on who's approaching us. All these units coming in for resupply. Look at that. Get that unit out of here. We'll just bring them back in. They're going to gobble up supply. Let's bring over the choppers now. They seem to be fully resupplied with main ammo 100%. All right, let's get Telgin back over here. Transport trucks pull back. So much to do, man. All right, Mi-24K, hit him. Very nice. All right, let's get back into position here. We have the HQ nearby, too. Oh, would you look at that? The transports offload very quickly, even before they come to a stop. That's weird. All right, friendly artillery here is out of ammo. We're just mere seconds away from calling in a new task force. The power plant is just a massively wide open area. I think that's just a crazy cool area to fight over, really. Let's pull that helicopter back. Supply looks good. Go ahead and do an area recon on the town. See what's approaching. Germans bringing up Leopard 2s? Oh, yes. Leopard 2A1s.
Available.
Well, hell, we're going to need something to deal with those heavier tanks. Maybe the 24Ps would be a good candidate. We need supply, though. It's going to be really difficult to supply them eventually. And they could run out if those supply trucks run out. Well, we need something to crack tanks. Let's go. Give me those Mi-24Ps, please. 170 to call out another group. Here they come. Looks like there's even some infantry transports inside that area with the farm. Right here. Oh, enemy attempted breakthrough with Leo 2A1s. Oh, lots of armor here. Get those transports out of there. Push forward there and secure that right side. Going to try to keep for more helicopters now for rapid response force. BMP-2s are upgraded in their veterancy. Oh, it's so good to see those tanks destroyed. Supply seems to be... Actually, it looks like it is infinite. So it is possible for us to run helicopters back and forth repeatedly. Ammo low on that one group, so we'll have them switch out. Some of these units are just simply not under our control. Let's give recon just in case there's anything behind there. We'll have the helicopters switching out.
5 minutes remaining.
5 minutes remaining? I thought we were almost done. These guys are not able to load up with more supply? Okay. So they can only offload from a previous supply area. Interesting. So we can't top out from one area and do another. Looks like the same unit that goes in has to be the same unit to come out with a full load of whatever may be there. Oh, look at the helicopters. The rotors splashing on the water. Not the greatest effect up close, but honestly, it's kind of cool to see that you're actually over water from afar. These are the types of grand strategy games where you want to be a little more zoomed out, so the greatest of details are still present, and good immersion is attempted. I appreciate the attempt. All right, let's retreat. The helicopters take a little bit of a bopping. All right, we're going to need something else. The 80s are going to have to dig in this way. Here they come. Wow, there's a lot of forces pushing through. All right, they're breaking through. We got to pull back across the field here. My 24Ps. These guys need to resupply. They have to land? Looks like they'll just kind of hover low. Oh, there goes those ATGMs. Looks like they resupply rather quickly. Well, let's check out what's here. Pull back the Mi-24s.
Objective completed.
Ah, we did it. So we were a little early because of the forces we were able to pull back. Oh, that's interesting. The forces that were assisting us, I think, were the... Oh, this is actually West German. I was going to say, oh, it'd be cool if it were actual East German forces there. But no, those were the ones assaulting. Very nice. Very, very nice. They were very aggressive and hit some good targets. But overall, we were able to pull off a win. Now, that's just medium, middle of the road, just a little experience from other games. So definitely interested in making this a lot more brutal by choosing many different factions. Of course, the more infantry and air support centered factions, and also, or regiments, whatever you would like to call them. But it'd be really cool to see all different types of nations against overwhelming forces and be able to pull off a big dub. Well, there you have it, folks. There are plenty more videos on the channel of the operations mode for regiments, as well as some other early looks on skirmish, and that mobile defense mode. I can't recall what it used to be like. I think it was just you defend several points for time, and that was it. Really evolving into something special. So I hope that if everybody gets it on August 16th, 2022, aka it's out now, that you really enjoy this game and support the developers of this. Now, it's from Microprose as well for publishing it, so they've been doing a lot of great games recently for realistic war simulations of all different types. So it definitely is starting to become more and more a mark of approval. I'm excited for games like the new Terminator game coming soon. Games of all sorts of different, fantasy or, perhaps probable situations, or really just anything of the future or the Cold War era of Cold War gone hot theoretical scenarios. Very interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Take care and have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.